meeting to order. Call for a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of regular minutes of November 15, 2016.
I'll make the motion that we approve the meetings from November 15th.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Staff report.
Why, you want to start?
Crystal?
Any report, Crystal?
Did
What did we do since, okay,
Did the
The lots?
ETC
The
subdivision pass?
well, it didn't have to go to commission.
Okay.
It just to us, and then it went to the county, and it was done. So, yes, that one went on. And then we didn't have anything else, so. But everything else is moving along on the pool, the new fitness center, and, you know, permits and everything, starting on that. Permits started on the judicial complex, but still working on some things with that one. And of course, oh, they got the slab poured on the brewery.
Yes, I saw that. Nobody tested it, but they got a slap for it.
I thought it was going to be bigger. No, it's supposed to go all the way to the other end.
Y'all continuing last night's conversation? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I wasn't here, but, all right. Crystal, thank you. Action items, consideration of approval for variance for lots 21A, 20A, 16A, and 15A of Block 3 of the Fayette Heights Edition.
So we had the owners, Beverly and Wayne Whitehurst, come in. They have had a tenant that's been there for years, I guess, probably even before they owned the properties. That's wanting to buy them. They couldn't sell it because the properties were situated on many lots. The buildings weren't properly situated on just one lot each. So they had it surveyed, replatted, and of course it was just a summary replat, so it didn't have to go to commissioner, nothing either, because they went from 7 lots down to 5. And they just need variances on just a few inches everywhere, as you can see. It's not much.
I'm trying to look at this on Google Earth. It's on 9th and Central, right?
No,
Okay.
9th and Carter.
Football field.
Yeah.
9th and what?
Carter, you know where you turn in to go to the news? Right over there by Art.
Better late than never.
We didn't start it that way.
Yes, the high school football parking lot is right there on the east side.
Excuse me, sir, is that Grace just making me recall?
Making me warm up.
Of course, we're about, what, 10 years younger than him?
Callie, we're on the first action item, and Crystal just went through the roofing pool and replat. I assume you're aware of everything.
They have all their paperwork filed, and we sent notices to, or I sent notices out to everyone in the neighboring area. I got a couple of people call just saying, what's it for? And then, you know, once you explain it, they're like, oh, so it doesn't affect me? I'm like, it doesn't affect you. And they were fine. So, other than that,
So I'm trying to get my machine working, it's not. Lot 21,
they used to be lots 15 through 21. And they replotted to be, you know, lots. The 15A, 16A, I think there's a 17A, 20A, and 21A.
Why do they not have those lot numbers on the plaque? Or am I just not seeing it? Or on the replat, I should say.
So 17 is included?
17 doesn't need anything.
17 doesn't need anything in a variance. 17 was fine, that's what we did.
So, my only question is the side yard setback on 21,
Okay,
does it create any site distance issues?
there's never, that building's been there for years, and I've never had a complaint on it that I know of,
Okay.
on that corner.
It's set back quite,
Yeah,
quite
It's,
far.
it's just shorter than what it should be, if you think about what the codes are. What?
About 3 inches, I think.
yeah, it's only 3 inches,
3
because
inches.
it's required to be
If it's
15
on-
foot, and it's only 14.7, so it's only
14.7.
3.
3/10 of an inch or
So I still have my question. Why
The
are,
A,
why are the A lots not described on the replat?
and I think on the, you know what, I sent it. It's went to the county, but on the, this is just a computerized generated thing he sent me. So I would have a copy of it, because we don't have a way to copy the big plat, and on the big plat, it did have the A's. I'm pretty sure, because of why I had that listed that way. Because I don't know why I would have put the A's in there if they weren't on here. And then I was just looking at what you guys are looking at, and I see where, yeah, there's not an A on those lots.
So it's gonna be 15A, 16A,
Mhm.
17A, 20A, and 21A, that's all that's gonna be remaining?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you make reference earlier that it's just a few inches, and that holds for all the lots that we want to talk about? I don't know whether, I hadn't seen anything in here talking about inches, but you're saying it's just a few inches on each?
Yeah, because unlike your 20A, the side yard is supposed to be 5 foot. They have 4 foot 9 inches. So they just need a few inches to be in the proper setbacks. So the variance is, you know, it's just for a few inches on each property.
On each lot, we're talking about just a few inches is good enough.
And then that side yard setback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you go up to the building and you look at them, they look like they're far enough apart. Then, you know.
The version right here.
So,
It's 14.7 from the Carter Street to the first one, it's supposed to be 15.
David, you have,
And in between the lot line,
Actually, I
each building is 4 foot 9. It's supposed to be
I'm
5
confused.
foot. So they're off.
Thank you.
just that little bit.
because what lots existed beforehand?
20, okay, it was 20, the very corner was, see if I have the old one in here.
There's 7 lots. before.
Yeah, there was 7 lots there, and it was 15 through 21.
You can see the little dashes and the line
Yeah.
dashes, that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was lot 15,
Right.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. There
And
was
we're changing-
7 lots, and they went down to 5.
Are we changing to 16A, 17A, 20A, and 21A, or is it?
We are, but it's not on plat.
It's
Yeah.
not, it's not on the.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not-
on the big one that they sent me, but I'm like, yeah, I didn't notice it wasn't on this little one he sent me
It's
here.
not on the. It's not on.
And they've already picked up the big one and took it to the county, so I didn't have a copy of it. And that's why I asked you to send me this.
So,
Let me,
the reason why is we're approving the
Yeah,
change,
yeah, I know
there's
what you
15A through 20A, or 21A, and if that's not the way it was platted, then the approval doesn't do any good.
yeah, I know. And that's what I need to, and like I said, I don't have the original one back here no more because they've already come by and picked it up.
Want me to go grab it from the county?
We
I can.
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
I don't know who has it, is it in
Bruce.
the
probably.
mapping?
I'm sure
It would have been turned into the county clerk.
Yeah.
The clerk has it?
Okay, so we're approving the variances to the lot definitions.
Yes.
So that's my only question. What we have in our packet and what was sent to us doesn't show an A on it.
Yeah, I see that now. And I really, like I said, I had the big plat when I was making this out and going over this with the Whitehurst. I didn't have this little bitty one.
Can we table it until such time as we see that actual plot?
If that's what we need to do.
But they need to get this sale done. And they can't do it, and we're holding them up over,
Lawyer.
What do you suggest?
I suggest that you approve the variances subject to correct identification of the lot numbers. By,
And I could,
And you
because I can go get that in the morning, I can go get that.
because the correct lot numbers would be listed on the resolution, grant approval by correction.
All right. So you're back in charge, so I'll not make the motion.
okay.
I make a motion that we approve the variances for the lot definitions as defined on a submitted and filed plat.
Subject to,
That's what he
subject
just-
to.
What he just said.
Oh, did he just say that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve it, subject
He
to.
just didn't say the same word for that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
My
Moved and
memory's not
seconded.
that long.
Yes.
My memory's not that long. I didn't get every word.
All right.
So,
Okay. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Same sign. Okay, motion carries.
okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just waiting on Crystal. Sorry.
She's writing.
Oh, their next, the additional streetlight placement?
We had a citizen call in about Dark Street up in the Yucca 13th intersection area. Went up there, there's a light at both intersections. I mapped out all the lights that were there. I went back in the evening one time because, yeah, they said there was, and one of the lights was out. So we had the light, I had Anna call it in. I went by there a few days later, the light was repaired. To me, there looks like there's sufficient light.
Yeah,
So
like-
I don't see a reason in getting more street lights right there.
Aye.
I'll make a couple comments. I know from the utility, the county electric, we've had members to contact us that need an additional light there. On Yucca itself, there's plenty of light, but there's a lot of people that walk that main drag, and that's the main entrance. I know I actually go in and out of that area a lot, and
So on 13th Street's actually where they're wanting them more
13th
lights.
Street is, to me, it looks a little bit dark in an area.
That
And there
one's-
are some trees there, but I know from a personal standpoint, going in and out, I have, you know, I do notice a lot of people walking, and you have to be kind of careful on that street.
There is the large trees that do make it shady and, you know,
Mhm.
once you get away from that light a little ways, it's dark again. But then the other light's right there at the corner, so.
And I will say, there are power poles and secondary wire transformers there already that if y'all choose to put a light up, all you gotta do is put a light up. You don't have to install poles, you don't have to run wires or anything, so.
We just have to remember the yearly cost is $105 per year per light to run it.
Okay, on Yucca, there's more lights than there is on 13th.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes, there is a lot of lights around there.
James,
Yes.
your recommendation?
Looking to put more lights on 13th Street or just leaving it?
I mean, I know it's, in a perfect world, we go out there with
Yeah.
lumen meters and check all that good stuff. But looking at, the surrounding area, the distance, just going off the distance.
Yeah.
They are placed very similar as far as about 300 feet apart. We do have some exceptions in different neighborhoods where there are more. How, this is a perfect example over on Yucca. We have more lights, but
Anywhere else
given
in
the
town?
current, the current economy, this is a general fund expenditure, and I think maybe wait until,
Yeah.
hold off on improving any more lighting for the time being.
Okay.
I can honestly see a rash of requests coming in if this one's granted.
Yeah, because most everywhere else in town, a block, you have a light at the first, in the center, and here, and usually it's 300 feet or more.
Is that
There's-
block 300 feet there?
Isn't a typical block in this town 300 feet?
330.
330.
330, so you have one every 165 feet.
Sometimes not. Some blocks are a little bit longer.
I think that's it. From going back toward the, that, I guess that would be north. Is there anything between that light you show at the intersection and the highway?
Yeah, there's another light at Avenue D, and then there is another light to the south where H meets 13th. So there's more lights on 13th there than just those three.
And actually driving over there, part of the problem is you've got these large conifers that are actually obscuring the light.
Yes.
I hate to have anybody trim back a tree.
There you go, that would solve the issue.
Now, which of these
City
lights
tree
did you,
trimming service?
which of these lights did you find that was out?
The very center one was out.
The center one was
Yeah,
out?
which made it really dark between the two intersections of it. It did. But once that light was up, I drove by there a few days later, and it looked fine to me. I actually walk around that area sometimes with my friend for exercise. So. Not now that it's gotten colder, but I did before.
Not ain't that.
My comment on this would be, if we went and added a light in here, I think that it would open up, similar
Yes.
years, it would open up comparisons in other areas, and if there's truly an area that doesn't have an obstruction made by the landowner, then we should look at that. And I have a light meter, and we can go, Crystal and I can go out and look at it and make a determination with respect to that. But if it's caused by a landowner not taking care of their landscaping, I would challenge the landowners to take care of the landscaping. My 2 cents.
So that was me. I just felt like we didn't really need it right now at this point in time, and it would get other people to requesting more lights all over the place.
I need a motion. So, and then we can vote against it, correct? Yes.
I make a motion to deny the additional lighting on Yucca and 13th.
I'll second it.
Is there any further comments, questions, or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of denying?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Now, can we make a negative motion? I thought we had to make a positive motion and then vote against it.
Well, it says on-
I'm just asking. Huh? Okay, I just want to make sure.
I
My
just-
brain is mush, I'm
He just
sorry.
read what I wrote.
I made a motion consistent with the recommendation. I'm sorry.
It's done.
Okay, I have a question.
Future meeting? Yes.
I have a question. On 3rd and Adams, it has a yield sign. Can we get a stop sign instead of a yield?
Oh, I hate stop signs.
shut up. A car landed in my other daughter's yard for running the stop sign, or yield sign. Literally this far from her bedroom window.
We'd have to
Have to
use the
do
same
traffic
process
control.
that we use.
Do a
for
traffic
police.
down saying?
And
Yeah, it's right there by that school
we've
and,
not had much luck getting the county's traffic thing here lately, because I know I asked for it for another project and I haven't.
There's yield signs all the way down Third, right?
there's yield and stop signs. But this is right down from Jefferson School, which is a war zone.
A block from Jefferson.
So, the city of Hobbs has, some counters similar to what I own. They just upgraded to, the laser lighters, the laser counters. And so they may have some that they're not using anymore.
Okay.
We may talk to Sheila about that. Stop signs should really go through a warrant process. And there's a traffic warrant. There's a set of questions that you have to answer on whether or not you do that, on whether or not you need to change the traffic movements in an area. Because of, even what we did up around the high school. Those small changes have huge impacts if there's a fatality. I get that the yield didn't work, but the red sign versus the yield sign's not gonna, the octagon versus the triangle's not gonna help that. For the most part. That's just a statistical thing. Bobby, I have a question for you. You voted against not adding the light? Okay.
Well, I know that, but personally, I know I've seen people walking and I've come close to, I won't say hitting them, but you know, you just gotta be extremely careful. That's just the main thoroughfare into that subdivision. So that's the primary, you know. I feel like it needs one, but that's just my personal opinion.
I have that issue on Brian Erlacher. I have almost run over people 3 or 4 times.
Especially if they're around there.
Because they're walking at night, but they're not up on the, they're in the street.
Avenue G.
If you're texting and driving, you're probably gonna run over them.
I don't know what liability that we would have, you know, that we have as a group, if like James mentioned, if you don't have, you know, there are regulations for the amount of lighting you're supposed to have on the highway, so, you know, I don't know where that puts us in a legal
Right.
standpoint as far as,
But I know,
when somebody had an accident, then where did that put the city, I guess.
driving out, if you go off the Dead Man's Curve and keep going west, like going to Mighty White's house, I've almost ran over people there like twice. Because you can't see them until you're up on them, and they've got a hoodie on and dark clothes, and I'm like, whoa. And they're walking, you know, the same direction I'm going. So.
Yeah, it's a daily occurrence.
Do you do that too? Have you seen them out there? Yeah.
I just
They're
mind-
walking to
put on
her
the-
neighbor's house.
Yeah, or to my neighbor's house. And a paycheck.
It's
They're
the
really
truth.
thin, so it's hard to see them.
Yeah. And when they smile, they don't have any teeth.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.